everybody. Welcome back to CNS Corvettes in beautiful sunny Sarasota, Florida. It's your Corvette buddy Lyle, here to talk, well, you know what, I'm here to give you a shop walk around because we haven't done that for a while. We got some kind of interesting cars floating around. Let's take a look. First one is this 2017 Z06. Came in for a clutch and torque tube and just got it done the other day. And I will tell you what, guys, there is so much stuff under a Z06 that isn't under a normal Z51. It really does. I mean, the job overall is the same, but there's so much extraneous stuff. You got to get out of the way and da-da-da-da-da. So this one, yeah, definitely one of the harder torque tubes to do is C7 Z06. But this car runs great, sounds great. Started up this morning, almost made me jump out of my office chair. And also, this car, I think it had been in a light front end wreck at some point, and they replaced the front bumper with ZR1 style bumper, which looks pretty dope. So looking forward to that going home today. We have another C7 over here that this came in from up in the panhandle of Florida. This came in from another shop where it had been sitting for months. Trying to get done, and they ended up leaving the windows cracked and the rear hatch open while it sat outside, and it got water in it. So they got the car running and they got it down here. We've gone through the electrical system. Thankfully, there's no serious water damage anywhere. We've been able to get all the codes out of it, and electronically this car is ready to go. It's got over 100,000 miles on this 2019. And you don't see that too often, but this lady drives the heck off this car. And it'll be going to the shop next week for a torque tube because that's what it really needs. And we're actually going to be putting in one of those custom Hinson Racing drive shafts that eliminates the couplers. So there'll be no rubber couplers in it anymore. And we'll talk a little more about that next week once we get this car apart. We have a 1976 that's been done for a couple of days, but the owner's been out of town, so we're waiting for him to come back in and pick it up. And that is not a white car. That is actually blue. That is a GM color from 76. I know it looks white, but if you look at these two cars together, you can definitely see the light blue, just barely robin's egg blue tint on that car. A lot of people who bring those cars in don't even know they're blue. They think they're white. Over here, we got a 2009 Z06. This car was the victim of an engine fire due to rodent infestation. Come take a look. So you can see in here where this burned, we've got some, and then look down here, you can see rodent damage here, rodent damage here. And there was all kinds of rodent nest in here. So this car is in for a insurance claim for rodent damage to see what we're going to have to do to make it a car again. And being a 09 Z06, it's certainly worth saving. The difficulty is going to lie in finding the engine harness, some of the other wiring that's specific to this car that is no longer available. So I'll get on my computer and on my phone. We'll find whoever's got it, but it may take a bit. This is a barn find that Steve found. We had it shipped in just after the holidays. This is a 1971 original car. Automatic, small block, power steering, power brakes, all the good stuff in it. And this is all very original. The gentleman we bought it from out in Arizona had owned it since 1973. And it has been stored inside the entire time. There are no rust issues on this car. It's just basically a time capsule. I think we may end up parting this car out just because we found out that the engine is a head gasket or something is wrong because we're making chocolate milk between the oil and the coolant in the engine, which is never a good sign. But that's what I think we're going to be doing with this car, which I know some people will say it's a shame, but things like unhit original front fiberglass, good solid doors, nice interior pieces, a lot of stuff that's rust free. We're in the parts business. This is what we do when a car isn't savable from our perspective. We're going to part it out and make our money on it that way. So here we have a really beautiful 1981 Corvette. This car is black. It's got really beautiful paint, so you can see how much effort we go through to protect the paint so that we don't scratch it or anything like that. This gentleman loves this car, and he's very, very particular about its condition. It's just in for a steering gearbox today. We're going to try to adjust a T-top to get it down to where it's not letting wind noise in. And then we also have oil leak that we got to investigate. But on these cars, these are the ones, especially when someone, this is their pride and joy, we try to get the car in, protect it as much as possible, fix it, and get it out as quick as possible. So I don't want dust on it. I don't want anything to hit it. I don't want a bird to poop on it, nothing. Over here, Andy is working on a black 2003 Z06. Not mine, but another one just like it. This car came in for front engine kit, shocks, brakes, whole list of stuff. Car has 60,000 miles on it. The gentleman has several vehicles, and he just wants to update this one to make it as close to perfect as possible. And that's what Andy's working on right now. And last but not least, we've got this 2000 in today. It's got a little bit of noise in the rear, so we're going to do a diff fluid service on it. It hasn't been done in the life of the car. And then we'll work that fluid into those clutches by doing a bunch of circles out in the cul-de-sac down there in both directions. That should knock away that noise he's hearing and get it to where he can drive it without worrying about any clicking or snapping. If you guys are getting clicking and snapping from the rear end on your C5 and you haven't done a differential service, making sure to use the GM additive, highly recommend it. And then you have to go actually drive it in circles, tight circles, in one direction for 8 and 10 laps and the other direction for 8 or 10 laps to actually work all that fresh fluid and that additive into the clutches. That's what's going to solve that, what we call that posi snap, where you feel that So this one will be in and out today. Pretty much that's what we got in the shop right now, guys. I got more interesting cars coming in next week. We'll talk to you soon.